In a bright, colorful alien academy, students from various planets gathered to learn about the universe and each other. Lyra, a curious young alien with sparkling green skin and big, curious eyes, sat eagerly at her desk. Today was a special day. They would learn about humans, a species that was both feared and admired throughout the galaxy. The classroom buzzed with excitement as the teacher, Professor Nar, entered. He was a tall alien with blue skin and 3 eyes that glimmered with knowledge. Lyra admired him, but today she felt a twinge of nervousness. What would they learn about humans? Would it be more tales of their ruthless ways? "Today we discuss humans," Professor Nar announced, his voice booming. The students leaned forward, their interest piqued. Humans are known for their strength and ability to conquer other worlds. They are fierce warriors, and many believe they are a threat to our existence. Lyra's heart sank. She had heard many stories about humans being ruthless and aggressive. It was hard for her to imagine them being anything else. As the professor continued, he showed a video of a recent battle where humans fought against an alien race. The video displayed explosions, ships clashing, and chaos all around. Lyra watched closely. The humans in the video looked brave, their faces filled with determination. But then she saw something that made her gasp. In the heat of battle, one human pilot, caught in a dangerous situation, had a chance to destroy captured aliens. Instead of pulling the trigger, he chose to spare them. Lyra's mind raced. Why would he do that? She thought. Isn't that a sign of weakness? After the video ended, the classroom erupted with whispers. The students exchanged glances, some shaking their heads in disbelief. "Humans are soft!" one student shouted. "They should have destroyed those aliens. Mercy is foolish." The others nodded in agreement, their faces set in determined expressions. Lyra felt a wave of confusion wash over her. She had always been taught that mercy was weak. But here was proof that humans could choose kindness even in the most dangerous moments. She raised her hand hesitantly, her heart racing. But what if showing mercy makes them stronger? She asked, her voice shaking slightly. What if it helps them win in the long run? Professor Ganar turned to her, surprised. "Interesting point, Lyra," he said, but his tone was dismissive. "In war, one must be strong. Humans may have spared those aliens, but it was likely a strategic move to win favor or to manipulate. True power lies in victory, not compassion." Lyra's heart sank further. How could anyone think that mercy was a trick? She wanted to argue more, but the other students' voices drowned her out. They laughed at her question, and some even called her naive. Feeling isolated, she sat back in her chair, her mind racing with questions. As the class continued, Lyra couldn't shake the image of the human pilot from her mind. Why did he choose mercy? What did that mean for humans? Were they really as bad as everyone claimed? As she left the classroom, Lyra felt determined to find out more about humans and their choices. There had to be more to their story than what her academy had taught her. Walking through the halls, Lyra overheard students discussing the upcoming intergalactic conference, where delegates from different planets would gather to discuss peace and conflict. An idea sparked in her mind. What if she could learn more about humans there? What if she could see for herself if they truly chose mercy over war? With a newfound sense of purpose, Lyra decided she would dig deeper into the mystery of humanity. She wouldn't let the stories and fears of her classmates stop her from discovering the truth. As she left the academy, her heart filled with hope, she felt a small flame of determination grow inside her. She would find a way to understand humans and learn about the strength of mercy. Lyra knew this journey would not be easy, but she was ready to challenge what she had learned. She believed that understanding and compassion could lead to a better future for all species in the universe. And it all began with one question. Do humans really choose mercy over war? Lyra woke up the next day feeling a mix of excitement and determination. The images of the human pilot refusing to fire on the captured aliens played in her mind. She wanted to understand this choice of mercy better, but her classmates would not listen to her ideas. They were set in their beliefs, and it frustrated her. After breakfast, Lyra decided to take matters into her own hands. She headed to the Academy's library, a vast place filled with books and data pads from all over the galaxy. The library had sections dedicated to every species, and Lyra hoped to find something that would help her understand humans more deeply. As she entered the library, the familiar scent of old paper and electronic screens filled the air. Lyra walked past rows of books, her heart racing with anticipation. She knew that humans had a rich history, but all she had heard were the stories of their wars and conquests. Now she was on a quest to find the truth. Lyra started in the human section, filled with colorful covers and intriguing titles. She picked up a book titled Human Nature: The Choice Between Mercy and War. The cover showed a brave-looking human surrounded by images of peace and battle. She flipped through the pages, filled with stories of humans who chose to spare others in times of conflict. The more she read, the more fascinated she became. In one story, Lyra learned about a human leader who had the chance to destroy a city full of enemy soldiers, but instead chose to negotiate for peace. This decision saved countless lives and helped build trust between the two sides. Lyra couldn't believe what she was reading. Humans were capable of such kindness. Why had her teachers never told her these stories? Lyra spent hours in the library, poring over every book she could find. She discovered tales of bravery, compassion, and sacrifice. Many humans had fought for peace, risking their lives to protect others. Lyra's heart swelled with hope as she read about individuals who stood against violence and chose to heal instead. But she also found stories that made her sad. There were accounts of human wars that had caused great suffering. It seemed that humans had a history filled with both mercy and violence. Lyra realized that they were not so different from her own species, which had faced similar struggles. As the sun began to set, Lyra knew she had to share her findings. She returned to her classroom the next day, ready to confront her classmates and professor with the new knowledge she had gained. The students were chatting and laughing as they entered the room, but Lyra felt nervous. Would they listen to her this time? Professor Nar walked in and started the lesson. He mentioned another human conflict, painting the picture of humans as merciless conquerors once again. Lyra raised her hand, her heart pounding. Professor, may I share something? The room went quiet and all eyes turned to her. Lyra took a deep breath. I spent time in the library studying humans. They have many stories where they chose mercy over violence. A few students scoffed. You're just making excuses for them, Lyra, one boy said, rolling his eyes. But Lyra pressed on. No, there are many examples of humans who risked everything for peace. One leader chose to negotiate instead of destroy, saving thousands of lives. They are not just fighters, they are capable of great kindness. Professor Nar raised an eyebrow. And what do you think that means, Lyra? He asked, his tone serious. It means that mercy is a strength, Lyra replied passionately. We should learn from them. They can teach us how to avoid war and choose understanding. For a moment, the classroom was silent. Some students exchanged uncertain glances, and Lyra felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps they would consider her words. But before anyone could respond, the bell rang, signaling the end of class. As Lyra walked out, she felt a mix of disappointment and determination. She knew she had to keep pushing her classmates to see the truth about humans. They needed to understand that mercy could be powerful, and she was ready to fight for that belief. With each passing day, Lyra grew more passionate about her mission. She wanted to bring her newfound knowledge to the academy and change the way her species viewed humans. She believed that by understanding mercy, they could create a better future for everyone in the galaxy. It was time to dig deeper and uncover even more truths about the mysterious and complex species known as humans. As the days passed, excitement filled the alien academy. A big debate was coming up, and students were buzzing with energy. The topic was about humans. Are they dangerous warriors, or can they choose mercy? Lyra's heart raced at the thought. This was her chance to share what she had learned and challenge her classmates' views. In the days leading up to the debate, Lyra worked hard to prepare. She gathered stories from her readings, highlighting moments when humans chose peace over violence. She wrote notes on her datapad and practiced speaking in front of her mirror. She wanted to be ready for anything her classmates might say. On the day of the debate, the auditorium was filled with students and teachers. The air was charged with energy as they took their seats, ready to hear arguments from both sides. Lyra's heart pounded as she sat with her group, the pro-mercy team. On the opposing side was a group led by her classmate, Zork, who strongly believed that humans were nothing but dangerous conquerors. Professor Nar stood at the front of the room, raising his hand for silence. Welcome everyone to today's debate. We will hear arguments from both teams. Remember to listen respectfully. Let's begin with the pro-mercy team, he said, gesturing to Lyra and her group. Lyra felt butterflies in her stomach as she stood up. She took a deep breath and looked at the audience. "Thank you, Professor," she started, her voice steady. "Today we want to show you that humans can choose mercy over war." She shared the stories she had gathered, explaining how humans had negotiated peace instead of fighting. As she spoke, Lyra noticed some students nodding. She felt encouraged. In one story, a human leader saved thousands of lives by choosing to negotiate instead of destroy a city. "This shows that humans can act with kindness and understanding," she concluded, her heart full of hope. The audience erupted in applause, and Lyra felt proud. But as she sat down, Zork stood up with a confident smile. "Thank you, Lyra. But what about the many wars humans have fought?" he challenged. "They are strong and aggressive. They only care about winning." His words sparked murmurs among the students. Zork continued, "Just look at the videos we've seen. Humans destroy everything in their path. Why should we trust them?" He glanced around, and many students nodded in agreement. Lyra felt a pang of worry. Would they see her perspective? Next, another member of Zork's team spoke up. "Mercy is a weakness. In war, you must be strong. Humans have shown us time and again that they will fight when threatened. We cannot forget their history." Lyra's heart sank. She could see her classmates were still scared of humans, but she knew she had to keep fighting for her beliefs. She raised her hand again, determined to speak. "But Zork, what if mercy is a form of strength?" she asked. "Choosing to spare lives takes courage. We should learn from humans, not just fear them." The audience fell silent, considering her words. Lyra felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe they were starting to understand. But Zork wasn't finished. "You're being naive, Lyra. What if they decide to attack us next? Would you trust a human not to destroy our planet?" He waved his arms dramatically, making his point seem more powerful. Lyra knew she had to respond carefully. "I understand your fears, Zork, but fear cannot guide our choices. We should look for understanding instead of conflict. Humans have the power to teach us about mercy, and we must learn from them." As she spoke, she felt the weight of her words. This was not just a debate, it was about their future and how they viewed others. The audience listened closely, and Lyra could sense a change in the atmosphere. After both sides presented their arguments, Professor Nar called for a vote. "Let's see how the debate has changed your views. Raise your hand if you believe humans are dangerous warriors." A majority of hands shot up. Then he asked, "Now raise your hand if you think humans can choose mercy over war." Lyra watched in anticipation, her heart racing. To her surprise, many hands went up, including some that had been raised for Zork's argument earlier. Professor Nar smiled, looking pleased. "It seems that some of you are open to new ideas. That's what education is all about. Keep exploring these questions, and don't be afraid to challenge what you've been taught." Lyra beamed with pride. She had made a difference today. Even if the debate had not ended in a complete victory for her side, she felt hopeful. Her classmates were beginning to see humans in a new light, and she was ready to continue her journey to understand the complex nature of humanity. The flame of determination burned brighter within her, and she knew she had to keep pushing forward. Lyra could hardly contain her excitement as she received the news, a field trip to Earth. The Academy had arranged for a small group of students to visit the human planet, and Lyra was chosen to go. This was her chance to see humans in their natural environment and learn more about them firsthand. She felt like she had won a great prize. The day of the trip arrived, and Lyra could hardly sleep the night before. She packed her bag carefully, bringing her notes, a few snacks, and her favorite book about human stories. She wanted to share her knowledge with her classmates during the journey. As the students boarded the sleek starship, Lyra's heart raced. The ship was amazing, with wide windows that offered views of the stars. She and her classmates took their seats, buzzing with excitement. The ship was set to leave the Academy space station and travel to Earth. Lyra looked out the window, dreaming of what awaited her on this beautiful blue planet. After a smooth takeoff, the ship glided through space. Lyra couldn't stop thinking about the stories she had read. What if she met a human who had shown mercy? What would they say? Her mind raced with possibilities, and she couldn't wait to explore. The ship soon approached Earth, and Lyra pressed her face against the window. Below her, she saw vast oceans, green forests, and bustling cities. "It's so beautiful!" she exclaimed, her eyes shining. Her classmates stared in awe, whispering about the sights they were seeing. Lyra felt proud to be part of this journey. As they landed, a human guide named Mr. Taylor greeted them. He had warm brown skin, friendly eyes, and a welcoming smile. "Welcome to Earth. I'm excited to show you around," he said, waving to the group. Lyra felt a surge of happiness. This human seemed kind and eager to help them learn. The first stop was a local school where children were playing outside. Lyra watched in fascination as the kids laughed and ran around. Mr. Taylor explained, "These children are learning about kindness and teamwork. They often work together to solve problems." Lyra couldn't help but smile as she observed the kids sharing toys and helping each other. "See, humans can be kind," she whispered to her classmates, feeling proud to witness this. But Zork rolled his eyes. "That's just children being children. It doesn't mean they can be trusted in serious situations," he replied dismissively. Ignoring Zork, Lyra continued to soak in the joy around her. The group then moved to a nearby park where Mr. Taylor introduced them to a local charity organization. The humans there were working hard to help those in need. Lyra learned that they were serving meals to families who didn't have enough food. She was amazed at how much effort humans put into helping each other. As they served meals, Lyra joined in, wanting to experience the kindness she had read about. She felt fulfilled watching the grateful smiles of the families receiving food. "This is what mercy looks like," she thought. Lyra turned to Zork, who seemed less convinced. "It's just a small act. It doesn't change anything," he muttered. Lyra's heart sank, but she refused to give up. "Every act of kindness matters, Zork. It shows that humans care about each other," she replied. She hoped that he would see the truth in her words. After their time at the charity, the group moved to a community center where people gathered to discuss local issues. Lyra was astonished to see humans talking openly about problems and working together to find solutions. They discussed everything from education to environment. "They are so passionate," she thought, inspired by their determination. Later, as they returned to the starship, Lyra reflected on what she had seen. She had witnessed humans choosing kindness and mercy in so many ways. Even in difficult situations, they were willing to help others. She could feel her heart changing, and she was determined to share her experiences back at the academy. As the ship took off from Earth, Lyra sat quietly, her mind buzzing with ideas. She wanted to write down everything she had learned during her trip. Her classmates might not understand yet, but she believed that sharing these stories would help change their minds about humans. Lyra knew this journey was just the beginning. She felt inspired to continue exploring the relationship between her people and humans, seeking to uncover the kindness that lay beneath the surface of their complex history. The flame of hope burned brightly within her, and she was ready to continue her mission of understanding and bridging the gap between their worlds. Lyra returned to the academy with a heart full of stories and experiences from her trip to Earth. She felt a strong desire to share what she had learned with her classmates. The field trip had opened her eyes to the mercy and kindness of humans, and she believed it was time to challenge the misconceptions that still lingered in her school. As the students gathered for their weekly assembly, Lyra felt nervous but determined. She had decided to speak up, to share her journey and encourage others to see humans in a new light. When it was her turn to speak, she stepped up to the podium, her heart racing. "Hello, everyone," she began, her voice steady. "I just came back from Earth, and I want to tell you about the amazing things I saw there. Humans are not just warriors. They can choose peace and mercy." Lyra could see some students rolling their eyes, but she pressed on. "During my visit, I saw humans helping each other. They care for their communities and work hard to solve problems together. I witnessed kindness that I never expected," she continued, her passion shining through. She shared stories about the children playing in the park, the charity organization serving food, and the community center discussions. As she spoke, she noticed some classmates leaning in, their expressions shifting from skepticism to curiosity. Lyra felt encouraged. "Choosing peace isn't a weakness," Lyra declared. "It takes courage to stand up for what is right, even when it's difficult. Humans have shown us that they can act with compassion and understanding." After her speech, the room erupted in applause. Lyra's heart swelled with pride. She had made an impact, and it felt wonderful. But not everyone was convinced. Zork stood up, his expression serious. "Lyra, you have only seen a small part of Earth. What about the wars? The destruction? How can you ignore that?" Lyra took a deep breath, prepared for this challenge. "I know that humans have fought wars, Zork, but every species has its struggles. The important thing is that they have the choice to change. I believe they can learn from their mistakes and choose a better path. Zork shook his head. But can we really trust them? What if they decide to attack us one day? Lyra understood his fears. Trust takes time, Zork, but we cannot let fear control our choices. We need to open our minds and hearts. Only then can we build a peaceful future. The audience was silent, considering her words. Slowly, a few hands raised in support of Lyra's viewpoint. I think Lyra is right, said a girl named Nia. We should not judge all humans by their past. We need to look for the good as well. Lyra smiled at Nia, feeling grateful for the support. Thank you, Nia. Humans are learning to choose peace, just like we are. Together we can create a better world. As the discussion continued, more students began to speak up. They shared their thoughts and experiences, both positive and negative, about humans. Lyra felt hope rising as the conversation grew more respectful and open. After the assembly, Lyra and her classmates gathered in small groups to talk more about the ideas they had shared. Many students were eager to learn more about humanity and its potential for mercy. Lyra felt a sense of unity growing among them, a bond formed by their shared curiosity. In the following weeks, Lyra organized study sessions where they explored human stories, histories, and cultures. They read about acts of kindness and mercy from the past and discussed how these lessons could be applied to their own society. Students began to see humans not as distant warriors, but as beings capable of great compassion. One afternoon, as they studied together, Zork approached Lyra. I've been thinking about what you said. Maybe I was too quick to judge humans, he admitted, looking thoughtful. I want to learn more. Can I join your study group? Lyra beamed with joy. Of course, Zork. The more we learn, the better we understand each other. As the weeks turned into months, Lyra's efforts began to show results. Students started to discuss peace and mercy in their daily lives. They organized community service projects, inspired by what they had learned from humans. Lyra felt proud as she watched her classmates choose kindness over fear. They were embracing the message of mercy she had brought back from Earth. The academy was changing, becoming a place where students were open to new ideas and perspectives. In the end, Lyra realized that the journey to understanding and peace was just beginning. There would always be challenges, but she was ready to face them. With hope in her heart, she knew that by choosing peace, they could create a brighter future for both their species and humans. And together they could build a world where mercy was the guiding light for all.